If you have problems with protesters, squatters or travellers, Shergroup offers a world-class solution. As officers of the High Court, Shergroup enforces writs of possession quickly and efficiently to remove unwanted visitors from your land or premises. So when campaigners pitched their tents in front of London's most famous landmarks, the Houses of Parliament and St Paul's Cathedral, the local authorities chose Shergroup to bring the protests to an end.
We've just arrived at St Paul's and you can hear the protesters in the background, very vocal. They've been given notice by the Gold Command, David Asker, that the eviction is now going ahead. Obviously they don't like it, but you know, we have to give the formality of giving the notice, and we give them 20 minutes to pack their belongings and move on, which they may or may not take. You can see the enforcement officers here in the orange shirts. They're banked up, ready to deploy for the eviction, and the police officers standing behind, they're supporting the enforcement officers. So it's very much about the enforcement officers in the lead position, if you like, with support, brilliant support from the Metropolitan and City Police.
After months of legal wrangling and a court appeal by protesters and activists from the Occupy movement, the eviction in front of St Paul's Cathedral finally got underway. Acting on behalf of the City of London Corporation, Shergroup worked closely with the council's cleansing team to clear the site. Tents were checked for people inside and for safety hazards. Possessions were bagged and labelled for the protesters to collect at a later date. Rubbish was taken away. It was clear what an eyesore this popular tourist destination had become. City of London and Metropolitan police officers ringed the site to protect those clearing the area, as well as members of the public and the cathedral itself. Entry points were cordoned off as onlookers gathered and chanted their support for the protesters. A dozen or so noisy protesters remained, perched precariously on a makeshift wooden barricade.
What we've got to do with them now is tread very carefully, because the police are amassed with their riot shields, and they will be ready to come in and remove those guys, because the guys have been chucking missiles.
Another campaigner, perched in a tree, watched on, throwing liquid over those gathered below. In one swift move in front of the cameras and microphones of the world's media, Shergroup's officers took the wooden structure apart. Campaigners scrambled to the edge of the barricade, clinging on as the frame wobbled precariously. What mattered most was the safety of all those present. One of Shergroup's climbers mounted the structure, and one by one the protesters were removed very carefully in accordance with Shergroup's procedures and handed over to the police. Just the protester in the tree remained.
The only arrests on this whole operation have been those who resisted by putting everybody at risk on the very rickety staging, and I'm afraid to say the gentleman here who's putting everybody at risk by climbing an unsafe tree. But looking around the rest of the site, the cleansing department are now cleaning it up. In fact, they've already set to polish the pavement at the top of the square, so by the time Londoners return to work tomorrow morning, St Paul's will be back to its original glory. Job done.
After 137 days of occupation, it took just 137 minutes to clear the site.
I'm very pleased with how the operation's gone this evening. It's been a terrific collaboration between the City of London Corporation, who have entrusted us with the enforcement of their writ, with the Metropolitan and the City Police in an excellent operation. You can see we've had fantastic police support this evening. Our officers have felt safe and able to work in what is a very hostile environment. This is the sort of thing that local authorities, when they're faced with this sort of trespasser action, with some confidence and having the right team, we can make a difference. Local authorities need to grasp the nettle of this sort of protest action, feel confident about bringing in the right team. Shergroup is that right team, and we can get it sorted for them.
A few months previously, a very similar scene was playing out in the shadow of Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament. In demonstrations like this, protesters take extreme risks with their own safety, like this person who climbed onto a lorry load of fencing, or this woman who locked herself onto some scaffolding with a solid bike lock. Sticking to stringent health and safety regulations, highly trained specialists set about releasing her safely from her self-imposed shackle. Once the final protesters were removed, fencing was erected to keep any unwanted visitors out, while Shergroup patrolled the site. For Shergroup's officers, an eviction is the culmination of meticulous planning which begins back at base. As an organisation which adheres to the national standards for enforcement agents, Shergroup's wide-ranging experience means that an effective operations plan is drawn up quickly, with all those involved receiving relevant training in how to remove protesters safely. Shergroup's own legal company can take care of any of the legal aspects. Here are just some of the evictions undertaken by Shergroup for local authorities. Squatters on a development site, protesters against a council road scheme, and travellers on council land. Whether you have trespassers on your land or even council tenants who can't or won't pay their rent, Shergroup's combination of services will ensure you get back possession of your property or land as fast as the law allows. For further information, please call 0845 890 9200 or visit www.shergroup.net.